welcome to this brief interview that we're going to have with David Hilton, who just opened up his own carpet cleaning business out in Orlando, Florida. Which, thank you for coming all the way out to Utah. I know it wasn't just for this interview, but thanks for coming out. It's a pleasure having you out here. David and I knew each other from way before you started a carpet cleaning gig. I actually knew David from what were we doing?
2017.
Yep.
We were in Arizona doing pest control sales. So
yeah. And I think your perspective, just going from that experience to becoming a business owner now, I think it's really valuable for these guys to hear. So before we dig into anything else, I want to hear about your experience doing sales, door-to-door, pest control sales. Let's hear about it. How did that go?
yeah, so like I mentioned, in 2017, we were doing summer sales and just going door to door every single day, getting up early, ending it, well, pretty much until the sun went down. And I hated life. And quite literally, I don't know if I would go as far to say as I was depressed, but it just seemed like I had to do this for 4 months. And that's like,
because it was summer sales, so it's not a year-round full-time thing. Part of their main pitch is, you only have to do this for 4 months. And maybe initially you think like, oh, it's just 4 months. Like I could do anything for 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people can, and they do. Like you were one of them who did it several times, which I don't know why you would. But for me, like I just have the personality of like, I don't like feeling intrusive on other people's spaces. And that type of sales felt just very invasive, very like much you're going on their turf and no one wants you there, even if what you have to offer is actually something that they would want. It's just they want to get you off their porch as soon as possible. So
meaning like a homeowner is there, you're coming up to their door, taking time out of their day, they weren't expecting it. And even if they have bugs or maybe are having an infestation, even, they're kind of mad that you're there knocking on their door.
Yeah. I mean, no one likes to be sold, and I am definitely included in that, pile of people where I don't like to be sold to. Hence, I don't like to be a salesperson because I just put myself in those people's shoes, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, a lot of viewers out there that feel the exact same way.
Yeah. So we were working out in Arizona, stinking hot AF. It's just miserable from our end, just from a personal perspective, not even from a business perspective. It was just miserable being out in the sun. But on top of that, the sales aspect can be a little bit rough. So how long did you actually end up being on just the sales side? Things.
Yeah, I think I only lasted / I was only willing to go through it for like a week. I only lasted a week.
Yeah.
That's how much I hated it.
And I remember going on drives with you and being like, so what do you think you're gonna do? And you're like, well, how can I get better at sales? And we would try to coach you through like different sales strategies and things. And I could see that there was a mental battle there of like, you don't really want to go up to these doors and have a debate with someone on why they should buy pest control. And so anyway, so you fought through it for a week, and what happened next?
So I decided to do, there was kind of this promotional thing where they said, hey, you can switch to being a tech and we'll give you this bonus or whatever for doing that. And I've always enjoyed like working with my hands and having more of a, casual interaction with customers where they're actually wanting you to do something and you're there to just serve them. You're not the salesperson. So I enjoyed actually going out and killing the bugs and operating in the business a lot more. And I actually got a couple sales just from doing that.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, so you went from sales to switching to tech, which for someone who may not understand, the tech job means that you're actually doing the pest control job. You're a technician. So you're out spraying the house, spraying for bugs, which could still be a little bit there. There is an aspect of not enjoying it because you're still out in the sun, right? It's still hard work.
You're still doing the physical labor, but I would have rather done that in the super hot
Yep.
sun wearing long sleeve pants and shirt than having to just fight with people on the doors.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Um, okay, so now we fast forward. So that was your kind of your experience with summer sales, being a salesman. And I know a lot of guys that reach out to me wondering if they're a good fit for starting their own business. They've been told by so many other entrepreneurs that if you are starting a business, you have to be dang good at sales. And if you're not a salesman, you're just not going to make it as an entrepreneur. So I know a lot of the guys watching this maybe might have that same fear of like, I don't like selling, period. I don't like, maybe they're like you, they just don't want to debate people and try to convince them to buy a product that someone wasn't expecting to buy. So for those people who are a little bit more timid to pull the trigger on entrepreneurship just because the sales aspect of it, what advice would you give them now that you've kind of made that switch to being now you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business? Has it been enjoyable or what would you say to them?
Yeah, so I would say personally, like I still don't like sales, but when it comes to running a carpet cleaning business, it feels very different. And the thing that I didn't like about door-to-door sales is that invasive feeling where it feels really disingenuous of an interaction with someone just to get money.
Right.
But when it comes to business, there are other, and I would argue more effective ways to to build a business, and that includes networking with other business owners, whether that's joining a BNI group or just any like local like Facebook group, and more networking, and then getting leads from those people, and those leads coming in will be or have been um, a lot warmer, a lot hotter, and a lot more likely to close on those leads versus just a cold someone clicked on an ad. So there is some element of sales, but it doesn't feel like sales. It just feels like you're talking about your business, or you're talking about something like a service that you can provide them. And
Yeah. Well, and those leads that are reaching out to you, you're giving them information that they're asking you for. It's
yeah,
not like you are trying to shout out to the masses, hey, this is my business. It's more like people are seeing that you run a business or a service that they want or need, carpet cleaning in this case, and they are coming to you asking certain questions like how much is it going to cost me, how do I know that you're going to provide a good service, what are the details, and you're just giving them those details and letting them decide if it's something that they want to do, right?
yeah, exactly. It feels more like I'm just telling people about what I do rather than, hey, do you need this service, or can I come over and do this service for you? It's just letting people know, hey, this is what I do. And a large part of it for me that I've found is just getting my name out there, whether it's through people, helping me get leads through their businesses, or me just hanging flyers of my business with a little bit of information on their doors, not even have to talk to a single soul.
Right.
So really just getting the brand out there, and like getting, with this day and age that we live in, where there's just lots of uh, technology and a lot of stuff is online. A lot of that exposure can come from not having to be that sales guy.
Right. Yeah. Another question that I want to ask you is about the perspective that a lot of people have when they're first learning about carpet cleaning. A lot of these guys initially are saying, I just don't want to work for someone else. And I usually say, like, are you open to business ideas or suggestions? And a lot of these guys are like, yeah, sounds good. I'd be open to ideas. And I'll say, what about carpet cleaning? And some of them are like, heck no, anything but carpet cleaning. I hate carpet cleaning. And I personally understand that. Like, I can't say I'm passionate about carpet cleaning in particular, but what about you? When you heard about carpet cleaning, were you passionate about carpet cleaning? Did you just love it? Or what was your perspective on that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say as well, like it's not like I'm passionate about carpet cleaning specifically. There's a couple elements that work for me where I can put my passion behind it. It comes from a place of I want what's behind the carpet cleaning or the experience of being an entrepreneur and the personal growth that has to um, or that happens when you're going into entrepreneurship. And that's what's attractive to me. Like, I want to be an effective person. I want to have a certain lifestyle and I want to obviously make a certain amount of money. Um, but to me personally, it's more important for me to have the personal growth, and really carpet cleaning business or any business you do is just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B.
Yep.
Which is really what the business game is you're just moving, whether it's your time and efforts into one thing to get money, or you're moving your money into other things that accelerate um your ability to make money.
Yeah, right. I love that. And do you feel like starting up this carpet cleaning business? I know there's, for your business in particular out in Orlando, there were some things that we struggled with, like setting up your Google page was kind of a hassle. But for the most part, other than that, setting up the Google page, how do you feel like everything went setting up your business?
Well, carpet cleaning specifically, it's a very simple job where pretty much anyone can learn to do it. And for me, it's something that I can just get in the zone and just do.
Yep.
And when I first started, there definitely was a learning curve when it comes to learning the equipment, learning the techniques, learning like what order to do things, and just
Yep.
getting more efficient at it. But I have always been of the opinion, work smarter, not harder, which I think we would all prefer to do. Because sometimes people look at carpet cleaning and think, oh, I just have to grind, grind, grind. But really, for me, it became more about surrounding myself with people that know more than me about what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
And that doesn't have to be carpet cleaning specifically. That can be just business in general, just business tips in general. And like I joined this business group called BNI, which is really just where a bunch of other business owners, like a painter, someone who just builds houses or remodels kitchens, whatever it is, where we all just share leads with each other. If we notice someone needs their roofs redone or something like that, we got a connection in our group to send them a referral for that person that needs that work done. And so I've gotten a lot of my business through just networking with other people, and I don't actually have to sell anybody. It's more just building relationships with people who know other people.
Yeah, I love that. And you mentioned that while you were out here in Utah, how long have you been out here in Utah? Like a week or less?
Yeah, I have been here for like
A couple
5 days.
days?
Yeah.
5 days? You said in that time, it's not like your business just died out in Orlando, but you've been getting a few appointments set up while you're out here, right?
Yeah. So it's like being a part of that group, they're still working even if I'm on vacation here with my family. And just today I got two more decent sized appointments for next week.
Wow,
So
nice.
that's it's a pretty big benefit where you don't have to go pay someone to go door to door sales or, get
Yeah,
those leads for you. They're
right.
just already doing what they naturally do. They're just coming across people who just happen to need the services that I specifically provide.
Nice. A lot of these guys are trying to picture themselves as a business owner, or they're like, I'm sure they have loads of questions, and you could go on and on and on with what ifs
Mhm.
and different scenarios. But just to cover some basics, can you speak a little bit about how you feel as a business owner, like the good, the bad, and the ugly of being an entrepreneur in general? Do you like it? Are you glad you're doing it? Do you hate it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I definitely don't hate it. If I were to sum it up in like just a few words, I would just say exciting. And the thing that's exciting that really just overshadows all the annoying stuff or all of those things is the potential for just limitless growth and how many doors it can open up for me and my family. And
Mhm.
that's what's exciting and that's what makes it worth it to me. And like I do enjoy physically doing the work itself.
Gotcha.
And I think if you can find enjoyment in the journey of just taking the steps and trust that as long as you're moving forward, you are going to get somewhere. Obviously, you want to listen to people who know the business either that you're in or just business in general. Surround yourself with those type of people and just start working the steps. And me having done that, I have enjoyed it. And I just continue to look to not just the present, but the future of where could I be if I just am consistent. And even there are days where I don't do much for the business at all. And but I the next day I just keep on doing something to keep moving forward. And everyone's gonna look different as far as how fast they get into entrepreneurship and how
Right.
successful they are or how slow they are, as long as you're consistent with it. And you don't have
Mhm.
to break your back doing it.
Right. Yeah. Solid point. Excellent advice and very solid points. Consistency over anything else. Like, you could go out one day and just absolutely kill it, but if you kill it one day and then go the next year and a half without doing anything, then that one day of absolutely crushing it is almost worthless. It's like, why'd you even go out and do that? But there was one more point that I wanted to ask you about. Oh, an average um, carpet cleaning appointment or day for you. Maybe not average, but just give us an example of, like, I know you texted me about a couple jobs that you've done in the past. Can you tell us, like, how that was? How did it go? How much money did you make? Um,
Yeah, so
give us some
my
info.
my average is, I would say, 4 to 5 areas or rooms.
Okay.
And the minimum is 3 rooms at least, which is 150, and then it just goes up from there.
And when we say minimum of 3 rooms, will you still service a house even if there's only one room?
Oh yeah, of course. But I
But
just
they're paying that minimum
yeah,
3 rooms.
yeah, they're
Gotcha.
paying for the minimum of the 3 rooms, yeah. And I would say for like a 4 to 5 and even 10 area home, my average is about just under 300 or so. Sometimes
Nice.
it's closer to 500.
Wow. Awesome. And what does that what does the labor of it kind of look like? I know some of these guys are thinking, I'm not going to do the carpet cleaning myself. I'm just going to hire someone else to do it and train someone else to do it. But a good amount of these guys are looking for like a side hustle that they can go out and actually do themselves. So what does that labor side of it look like?
Yeah, the labor is, it's pretty simple. I mean, the tools and machines that I'm using are extremely easy to learn. I just taught myself how to use them. That's how easy it is. And I just go through a step-by-step process every single time. And sometimes there are, changes to how many dry strokes I do or whatever, depending on how
Right.
bad it is. But generally, it's a very simple and easy thing I can do where I can just pop in my earbuds, listen to music or a podcast, and just do my thing. And it's a very, simple. You go, you clean, you go collect payment after you're done, and then you leave. And
Nice.
it's not complicated.
So the last question that I want to really hit on is if you were to book appointments for one day out of the week, like some of these guys might be thinking, well, I have my day job during the week, but maybe on Saturdays, I'll just devote all of Saturday to carpet cleaning. So if you booked a couple of appointments for a Saturday, um, how much do you think you could make if you just filled up your Saturday with appointments and it was just you cleaning the carpets?
Hmm. I would say if I had a full day of appointments averaging, let's say 300 per appointment, and let's say from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.,
Sure.
I have on average throughout that time, could probably fit 4, maybe 5 appointments.
Okay. So let's go on the low end and say 3 appointments for a Saturday. You just book 3 houses. How much would you make from those three on average? How much would you make from those 3 appointments?
I'd say on average, I'll probably say around $800.
Nice. Very cool. And that would just be from one Saturday going out, grinding. And of course, if you went on the higher end of that, so that's like if we were on the lower end doing maybe 3 appointments for the day. But if we went on the higher end and you squeezed in 5 appointments for the day, you'd make that much more in one day.
Yeah.
And I would say even you're fairly new. Would you consider yourself pretty new to the carpet cleaning game? Or by this point, are you like experienced? You know exactly what you're doing.
Um, I always feel new, and there's that saying where the more you learn, the more you
No,
realize
you
how much
don't
you
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't feel like that, I feel like if you have a really good handle, like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing,
It's more
you're
arrogance
yeah,
than
it's more
anything.
arrogance. You probably should start learning of like what you could be doing even better, because that's at
Yes.
the end of the day,
Right.
that's what sets apart the big dogs versus the always small business owners.
Yeah.
And me
Right.
personally, I want to reach for the stars and I want to hang with what the big boys are doing. So
Yeah. Love that. So, regarding your experience with carpet cleaning in general, do you feel like with more experience you could actually fit in more than 3 jobs? Like you meant you threw out like 4 or 5 jobs. Do you feel like that's a reasonable amount for a full day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. doing like 4 or 5 jobs?
yeah, I mean,
Or is that selling a pipe dream?
yeah, no, I would say actually you could do even more than that if you were really willing to learn, okay, how do I be the most efficient? Me personally, I'm not there yet to where if it was just me, probably couldn't fit in 5 or 6 appointments. If I did, I'd probably be going down on quality of work. But what I am doing, like I had mentioned before, I'm always learning how to be more efficient, how to be better. And what I have started to do is researching the products that I'm using, because the products you use are going to affect how efficient it is at breaking up the soil and different stains. So just doing that research has been helping with that efficiency, doing things, getting that work done faster.
Yeah. Having to do maybe less passes over the carpet before it's totally clean.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And then last thing I want to ask you about, I know I've probably said this like 3 times, Kate, last question, but this really is a decent number of guys that reach out to us are coming from doing like an Amazon FBA business or an eBay business, or they've taken courses on other things. And I just remembered that you have done courses as well. You've paid for other courses. How would you say this compares to, like, in general, just other online courses that you've personally purchased?
Oh, yeah. So there's a huge difference. And, for example, the packages that I've bought several times, which were like $1,000 per package, a lot of them, if I implemented it, yes, I could have the results that were talked about in the original pitch, but it's like the actual implementation is so much more complicated and convoluted than it seems, because it's pitched as something pretty simple.
Yeah.
And like, all you have to do are these things, and then
just follow our course and you'll get rich.
Exactly. But, specifically with carpet cleaning, the thing I love about it is so simple, and it, doesn't require so many moving parts. Really, you just need yourself, equipment, a vehicle to haul that equipment, and a willingness to go out and, find people, whether that's going door to door, which I do not recommend personally, or networking, which I do recommend with, other people that'll help you get that business. And then it's just a matter of continuing to do that and expanding.
Yeah. So very, I guess just to sum that up, very like applicable, very easily executable. Is that the word?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you could, if you got the equipment right now, you could go out, to your house, tinker with the equipment, and then just go out and do it the next day. Like it really is that simple of a business, to where you can just start it right then and there. Because the problem with like some of the other courses is there's like a long education process, and then there are these other processes that you have to set up before you can even start making money or start doing the thing that it's, the material is talking about.
Yeah. I always, or not always, but I typically tell people that running a carpet cleaning business is, in a sense, it's like just a complicated lemonade stand, or a more sophisticated lemonade stand. Just pretty simple. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it is. It really is just as simple, but a little bit more.
And you can dive in, like you were saying, you're doing a lot of research on now what chemicals will be most efficient for getting out other stains and doing different things. But just being able to offer the service from a very basic level, it's very easy to get to that stage where you can be like, hey, I'll go clean your carpets, provide a basic service, and charge you X amount to do that. Should be very easy to do, very executable. So anyway, thank you so much, David, for coming out here and doing a little interview with us. I hope this is helpful for the guys that are considering opening a business of their own. And I hope it doesn't paint so much of a picture that they think they'll just open up a business and be rich the next day. but a very realistic expectation of this is a business that you can actually do and be very successful with it at the same time.
Yeah,
Cool.
I totally agree with that. And I would say my journey, it definitely wasn't just this, oh, it's so simple and you can just start making money immediately. Oftentimes, life, not just the business side of things, because the business is simple in and of itself, but life is not as simple as that. And there really is a true learning curve to just like the personal growth that you have to go through to entrepreneurship or just being anywhere remotely, financially successful. You have to have certain habits in place to just manage your money, regardless if you're just doing a 9 to 5 job or if you're running a business. Those principles are the same. And it's been a lot of learning, a lot of grinding, and a lot of sleepless nights just having to work through those more personal family problems. But the thing with business that gives me hope is if I implement it, I will be successful. It's like 100% guarantee. Well, I guess I shouldn't say 100%, but that's just kind of my mindset. Yeah. But to me, there is no going back. There's only going forward. And I'd rather fall forward, fall a lot, and learn from those feelings and end up on top. And if you read any financial books or follow any of the financial gurus that are stupid rich, all of them will tell you their lowest point stories. And and they will tell you that at one point they were almost homeless, like Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad Poor Dad and his other books. And just there's so many other people out there where they literally just started with nothing. They struggled hardcore, but they were willing to just be consistent with a very simple layout, simple business plan, and they were just willing to just work the plan. And you look at those people now and they're crushing it.
Yep. Love that. Find a business plan that works and then just crank on it really hard. Awesome. Well, thanks again, David, for coming out here. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully this gives you an idea of what it's like to run a carpet cleaning business of your own, show you what's possible, and we'll see you on the flip side.